From the banks of the Ohio River, there's a look at what's now known as Paycor Stadium here in Cincinnati. Today, Week 12 of the NFL season is upon us, and we've got a good one in store, as it'll be the Buffalo Bills taking on the Cincinnati Bengals.
With Charles Davis, as always, I'm Brandon Gaudin. And Charles, you talk about storylines in this one. I think it begins and ends with our two quarterbacks, certainly two of the best in the business.
And nowadays, I don't think you can get by for long periods of time without a top-flight quarterback. The way the game is played, with all the responsibility he has, and how the game...
The Bills offense working on a 3-game winning streak as they start play. And all eyes on this man, their star running back.
As he continues to run the ball really as effectively as anyone in the league.
Yeah, I have a lot of admiration for him because right now he's up over 1,400 yards for the season. Let's face it, those numbers, they're reserved for
elite backs?
Yeah, without a doubt. No doubt about that at all. And right now, he's as elite as there can be in the NFL.
From the 21, here's a 2nd and 4. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he's got a Bengals first down as he's got this up to the 28-yard line.
11 mighty. 11 mighty.
First and 10 at the 28-yard line.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. Now he's loose at the 40. Inside the 20. And all the way in for a Cincinnati score. A great play there. With touchdown number 29.
Cincinnati coming back onto the field here for their second drive.
And they'll have good field position here following the interception and a chance to build on their lead as they start with a 1st and 10.
11 MT. 11 MT. Dot.
On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. They find some open field here. And he's in for the score. And his spectacular season continues as he ties the NFL touchdown record.
He is phenomenal.
Week after week, Charles, when we see this offense operate, I don't know, they just seem to get more impressive.
They certainly do, and let's face it.
Bengals offense and their running back getting set for this next possession. And he has made his presence felt to the ground game already in this first quarter. They might very well lean on him the rest of the way.
They'll start on the ground here on first down. And for one of the few times here today, this run's not going to go anywhere. A loss of a yard there to start out. That leads to a 2nd and 11. And nothing doing. He's immediately taken down at the line of scrimmage.
Here's 3rd and 10.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry.
Now he's loose again. He may go.
And he'll take this into the end zone for a Bengal TD. A big play there. Doing it again with his 3rd touchdown here in the opening quarter.
And the Bengals go up by 2 touchdowns.
We see this a lot on 3rd and short yardage, especially down here in the red zone. They're going to sell out to stop the
Bengals offense and their running back getting set to go once more. And he's been a tough man to stop in this first half. He's putting up some big numbers already, and we have yet to reach halftime.
On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. Down to about the 22 here.
Boy, 196 yards rushing now for the NFL leader coming into this ball game.
And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. And he'll be brought down inside the 20 at the 19.
They'll get 3 as the drive continues. It's a first down.
Here we go. 11 Thomas. Right 80.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry.
And they'll work this down to the 15 for a pickup of 4. Now 2nd and 5.
Second and 5. At the Bills' 15-yard line.
Now as they run left side. And he is into the end zone, and the touchdown record is now all his.
So another rushing touchdown for him this year. Well, he's found the end zone quite a bit so far. Charles, that now an even 20 scores on the season.
And you know how often we use the term, probably I overuse the term imposing their will? Well, these defenses have become really powerless to stop him. That's what we've seen from him and his team this year. You know he's getting the ball down here in the red zone, but he's just got that strength of will himself, and he's used it to great effect.
Home team's offense and their running back getting ready to go back to work. And as a play caller, when you've got a guy who's running like this, you lean on him and your offensive line. He's had big hole after big hole to run through in this first half.
Here we go. 11. Right.
They'll start this drive out on the ground. And he is brought down at the 22 after a gain of 2, and it brings up second down. From the 22, here's 2nd and 8. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground.
And he'll manage only a couple here up to the 25.
And now we're going to get a stoppage as, yeah, that looks like Jackson who's shaken up. On 3rd down, they're going to run for it here. And they're able to get this one across the 35. They'll get 14 on that one. Good for a Bengal first down. 2 minutes remaining in this first half of football. So here's a 1st and 10 at the 38. One back in the backfield. He'll get the carry.
And he fights forward for a modest 2-yard gain. 2nd down. 2nd and 7.
They'll try to run this one right up the gut. And maybe a measure of revenge there. He's had his way in this one, but this time they get him behind the line.
He was taken down behind the line of scrimmage.
On 3rd down, they're going to run for it here. Now the Bills are going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll head to the sideline and talk over.
This offense making its way back out, led by their running back. He's been the focal point of this offense. And when you get a performance like this, you can almost invariably add that the offensive line play has also been stellar. And that's definitely been the case here.
They'll start on the ground here on 1st down. And he'll take this one up close to about the 45. Now the Bengals going to use the first of their timeouts as they'll stop it with just over 40 seconds to go in the first half. And they'll keep leaning on the running game. Back to the ground. The Bengals going to use the 2nd of their timeouts as they stop it here with just under 40 ticks to go in this first half. Now they'll pitch it out here.
On a determined run there as he's going to take this all the way down near the 40.
Looking to speed things up here, going with some tempo.
1st and 10 at the 41-yard line.
On 1st down, they'll go to the ground attack. That's some good hard running there as he'll push his way forward for about 5.
11.
It's a pickup of 6. Brings up 2nd and 4.
Here's Burrow setting up to throw it.
Oh, he tries to force it in, and it's intercepted.
Intercepted by the Bills. They'll take over 1st and 10 at their own 36-yard.
So here are the Bengals set to take over. They were losers a week ago to Baltimore, but they lead things here as they start 1st and 10.
Ready?
They'll start this drive out on the ground. And able to get this one across the 45 before he's brought down.
That's good for a Bengals 1st down.
A big hitter to start the drive has him up near midfield here for 1st and 10. And they'll give him another shot here on the ground. And he's going to be met at the line of scrimmage and taken down.
He was brought down by Gregory Rousseau. 1-yard gain. Brings up second and
Now it's Burrow.
at the 37-yard line.
And he'll throw this one away, but I don't think he was out of the pocket. No, here comes the flag.
We saw it too. Nobody in the vicinity of that throw, and that earns him the penalty.
Yeah, you've got to at least get it close enough to one of your own guys in order to dodge the penalty.
Call it no gain there, and it leads to a 4th down.
The tackle by Jack Campbell. No gain on the play. It's 4th down.
Look at the running back, the man out of the backfield as he gears up to go again. I guess it kind of goes without saying at this point, but he's had a great game, as we like to say, a nose for the end zone, no doubt.
Continues to find it throughout this game, and I'm sure he's got a nice place to live. He might want to make an offer in the end zone for a second.
And nothing but green grass here, middle of the field. And all the way in for a Cincinnati score. A great effort there. An 80-yard touchdown.
And the Bengals are able to strike quickly to add on to their lead. One play, 80 yards. Pretty easy drive to recap.
It certainly is, but not so easy to execute. Starting on your own 20, you want something to kickstart your drive and get it off to a nice start. They went for the whole thing and got it. That's a great way to send a message to the opposing team.
Now the Cincinnati offense ready to see what they can do here. We find ourselves here in the midst of a one-sided affair. A lot of fill time down the stretch, Mr. Davis.
So we could talk about food because that is something that you and I really enjoy.
share that.
We enjoy our time at the table. So maybe the best steakhouses in the city, but in all seriousness, the performances that we've seen this year, we've seen a bunch of great ones, and it's going to be hard to parse who's going to win the MVP.
Yeah, it really is.
Is it going to be a runner? Is it going to be a thrower? Can a defender finally win it this season? Those are the things that we could probably discuss.
And collectively, this is about as dominant of a performance as you could have hoped for on both sides of the football.
Might have to put it #1 for what we've seen this season.
And they nearly get this all the way to midfield. Mark him down at the 49.
11 Thomas. 11 MT.
49-yard line.
On 1st down, they'll go to the ground attack.
And he gets forward up the middle, but only for a couple. It'll be 2nd down.
Across midfield.
Brandon, I've got to think this offensive line has got some smiles on its faces. And I know it sounds crazy, but they practiced for this back in training camp. They knew they'd be in situations where there'd be extra defenders in the box coming after them, trying to keep them from locking down a game. Right now, they want to show the world they're up to the challenge.
11.
And on 3rd and inches, we're going to get a whistle and a timeout. And as the two teams talk it over on their respective sidelines, we take a break. It'll be a gain of 6 that time as it moves the chains as well.
The 36-yard line.
They'll try and run some clock here as they keep it on the ground. And nowhere to run on the interior of that defensive line. He'll get back only to the line of scrimmage.
Brings up 2nd and 10.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry.
And a good-looking run there as he'll take this inside the 20 and down to the 18-yard line.
All runs on this drive so far. It's 1st and 10. And he'll take it from the 18 to the 15. A gain of 3.
Here's 2nd and 7.
11.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. And they get to him quickly here as he stopped right around the 13. Call it a gain of a yard, and it's going to bring up 3rd and 5. Just 2 minutes remaining here in the 4th quarter of what has been a one-sided affair.
They'll come up facing 3rd and 5.
One back in the backfield, he'll get the carry. And this play goes nowhere. Losing yardage back to the 15. He lost 2, and it brings...
This offense and their running back headed back onto the field. And it's hard to believe you could run the ball a whole lot better than he has. The vision, the cutback ability, the acceleration, it's all been on display throughout.
Stop.
On first down, they'll go to the ground attack. Past the 20. And now look at this. Big gain, but a fumble. Now this is picked up by the Bills.
It's not often that we see big plays end in disaster, and we just absolutely saw it right there. They had something really big cooking on that one.
When you're down near the goal line like that on a big play, do you get maybe a little too careless, a little too desperate for the goal line?
I think the last part is exactly right. You get desperate for the goal line, and sometimes you get the ball out ahead away from your body, or you're trying to extend to get there, or maybe you're just trying so hard that the ball will come out of your hands. In any event, that's a big opportunity.
So this one in the win column now for the Cincinnati Bengals. And it was a game where they were off and running in the first quarter, Charles, and never looked back.
You know, partner, after a while, we always say the same thing, don't we? They set the tone early, right? They started fast. So I asked a few of my horse racing friends, do you have a term for me that we can use to cover that? And they said, yeah. When a horse breaks out like that, you say he caught a flyer out of the gate. And that's exactly what this team did today. I mean, they jumped out there, jumped on them, and were never headed.
So for Cincinnati,